Welcome one, welcome all. And the refs just won Patrick Mahomes another game. I cannot believe it. But luckily, I get to use this full-on tilt as a Cincinnati Bengals fan to dive into a showdown slate that is actually a ton of fun tonight. I'm really looking forward to this one. And as always, I am joined by the one, the only, Kurt. Kurt, how you doing today, man? How's everything been? How was your Sunday?
Pretty rough. I had like 100% Cooper Cup. I was under on a lot of the guys that went off, so it was a rough day. But the Chiefs Bengals game, the Chiefs Bengals game was good until the ref show.
Yeah, the ref show really showed out there when Cam Taylor-Britt, or not Cam Taylor-Britt, but when he got called for the defensive pass interference there late on. I don't even know who committed the penalty. Oh, it was Anthony for the Bengals. Just a full-on tilt. But I do know one thing is outside of just, tilting about results, I somehow got across the cash line with my main lineup today, thanks to Yosivas. And also, that was with Cup. And I do have to mention, too, a great thing that all the cash content on the site too. I know Third and Schlong does a lot of it, but it didn't start out great for those who were playing cash. And he said, get off Cup, and look what happened. So you got off Cup. I imagine it had to be a positive yield because of that, because Cup was so high owned that you had to kind of get different to really, get a positive ROI in cash. And I imagine that had to help him a lot in cash, help out a lot of people early on. And should be a good slate tonight. Let's go ahead and see. We got don't be an idiot, Rubes. Bengals do definitely got the Chiefs receiver early. I will refuse to admit that. As a Bengals fan, you guys, it's not me. It's you guys who are wrong. Anyway, Kurt, I want to start out tonight with the quarterbacks. So easily, one of the cheapest things that we've had, one of the cheapest slates. CJ Stroud is under 10K. Caleb Williams is under 9K. When I looked at this slate, Kurt, there was an easy path for me to build, and I want to say that we are on a very similar path. It's one, easy to get both quarterbacks tonight, and I also wanted to throw this stat out here, right? Last year, both these teams were in the top 6 in terms of rushing yards against. So the Texans yielded the 6th fewest rushing yards per game last year, and then the Bears yielded the fewest yards per game against the rush last year. Both these teams were subpar against the pass. And really, what did you target against the Texans? It was the slot receivers and tight ends who actually had the most success against the Texans last year. And as far as the Bears, the biggest benefit for guys going against them was actually backfield PPR merchants, is what I like to say. So guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield, which I think Mixon fits the build. Go ahead and talk to me about playing both quarterbacks today, and can you play them in captain, or maybe you have a different take on Caleb Williams' first week not being a fluke?
Yes, I'm always playing Stroud, especially under 10K. A slate or a game where Stroud beats me because he plays poorly. I mean, it can happen, but I'm just always playing Stroud. That offense is awesome. I'm going to keep playing him. Under 10K as a gift. Just plug him and play. I mean, I'm treating him literally like Mahomes. I think I have very high praise for this guy. And then when it comes to Williams, I think we need to take into consideration how the Titans defense did today versus the Jets. I'm not saying the Jets are a high-powered offense or anything, but I mean, they have some serious weapons, and I mean, they weren't able to do that much today. So I think maybe the Titans defense is really for real. So let's see what we can get from Caleb Williams today. I think it will be a better performance from him and this offense as a whole. Maybe not the full step we want to see them take, but definitely a step in the direction from what we saw last week.
Yeah, last week was a very disappointing offensive showing for the Bears, but their defense really showed up. So just to kind of put it in perspective, like last week, they only conceded 104 passing yards. That includes like sacks and stuff, which was second only to themselves. They only threw 64 yards against the Titans. Last week, it was also a 24-17 matchup against the Titans there. They conceded on the run, which wasn't in line with what they did in 2023. You never want to just assume that, just because one thing happens last year, it's going to happen this year, or something happens in week 1, it's going to happen the rest of the year. But I do expect the Bears to kind of be more of I wouldn't say a funnel per se, because they got some really good defenders. I know you watched a lot of Hard Knocks. Specifically, was it Jalen Johnson, the one that who has gotten one of the elite cornerbacks of the league. But really, I do want to still attack this secondary a little bit. And what better team to do it? Oh, yes.
I want to once again mention that, like last week, the Bears had the punt block return, and they had the pick 6, and that takes away time of possession. So Caleb could have had a little bit better stats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that does help when your defense and special teams make good plays, especially when it's a short field where they just house them. I mean, I don't think the Bears scored an offensive touchdown last week. I think that's what Snyder said on our show last night, which is like just as astounding when you see a 24-17 scoreline and the offense doesn't score. It just shows you like, yeah, it's not going to make the offensive stats look pretty. You know, a lot of the time it just immediately means the Titans get the ball back. And like you said, time possession being a main thing there. When I also looked at the Texans last week, what did we see? We saw a bunch of big plays conceded from them. When you looked at what the Colts were able to do, I know Pierce was able to be found down the field. You also had Ashton Doolin. But the one thing is, despite seeing all those long touchdown throws and also the ones that A.D. Mitchell missed, the Colts only completed 9 passes against the Texans, which was wild to me. The biggest thing, though, and I really wanted to mention this, how many throws did Anthony Richardson miss last week, right? It wasn't just 1 or 2.
As someone who played
like
Mitchell.
Yes.
That was a lot.
And so is this Texan secondary? I mean, this is a much better spot than the Titans, surely, right? You would expect that maybe this is the get right week. This is what we came for, right? This is why Caleb Williams was drafted with the first pick. Take advantage of this secondary that Anthony Richardson, he threw for 212 yards and he could have thrown for 300, right?
Yeah, it definitely hurts to not have the underneath stuff with Keenan there. I guess now is a good time as ever to mention that Keenan Allen is out, as you all probably have seen. It would be really nice to kind of have, I mean, because some eyeballs would be on there, especially if they get a couple early. And that would, I mean, kind of like what Pittman can do for the Colts, open up some of the underneath stuff, and then you don't worry about Pierce, Mitchell. And that could have happened here, but Keenan can't go today. So, yeah.
Yep, and it's very interesting with Keenan Allen being out. For those who don't know, Rome Odunze was projected to be in, and he is in. Some minor changes as well. Velus Jones Jr. is inactive. Roshan Johnson and Tyler Scott are active after being inactive last week. As far as the Texans go, Damian Pierce is out. So that does mean that Cam Akers and Dare Ogunbowale should be able to shoulder the load behind Mixon. But we saw last week, Mixon got 30 touches. He's a workhorse. It's not like much of a chance is going to be given to those guys. So I just wanted to give my piece on the quarterbacks real quick. Obviously, I just talked highly about this Texans secondary potentially being torched. I like Caleb Williams a lot. I also love C.J. Stroud. Tonight is a double quarterback night, and I know the total is only 45. It's not like some 50 total where you're just like, oh, man, I can get everyone. But when you're playing both, and they literally cost under $19K for, Caleb Williams, I hope, is good, but Stroud is an elite quarterback in his own right. You can also captain either of these guys. I think, especially Stroud, being under 9,800, he's got 3 receivers he could throw it to. If he threw it to 3 different dudes tonight, there's a decent chance that Stroud is optimal captain. I usually don't captain the quarterback, but tonight I'm making an exception. I don't know if I'm going to have that in my main team. I think I do like the wide receiver captain just a little bit better, but I will absolutely consider both guys in the captain spot today. Are you kind of similar in that regard, or maybe you just not captaining quarterbacks? I know a lot of us have different takes. I know JBC, for example, he doesn't really want to ever captain quarterbacks because, all that offensive concentration can be at the top. It doesn't look to be different tonight. So he's fully in line with the wide receivers tonight.
I agree, but I think Big Team has made the point a couple times about how DraftKings is really forcing us to get them back in the captain consideration, and the field's not really being like, okay, well, I'll get cute and do. I feel like they're not adjusting to it yet either. So eventually it's going to hit, and I would prefer to do it on a team that runs a lot of 10 personnel, that runs a lot of 11 personnel, and that has 3 stud receivers like the Texans. Maybe not Caleb yet, just because, like I said, Keenan Allen's out. I feel like it could be more concentrated today, even though I am going to take a couple shots in the cheap receivers they have. I feel like this could be a double-digit target game for Odunze and DJ Moore. Could be a 15-target game for DJ Moore. So, and then plus they have I know they have a couple tight ends too, but I don't Everett, meh.
Well, that's the thing. You want to have a little bit of exposure to the tight ends against the Texans. They were not great against tight ends last year. Last week, I'm not really putting in too much, stock.
You know what?
Tight ends can do. Yes.
I'm changing my mind. I think Caleb runs a little bit more, and he is really cheap. So I'm talking myself back into being open to Caleb because he'll scramble around. He's not afraid to run it in. Stroud will literally just stay. Stroud is basically a statue. And he can be.
I agree. And I also have to address this. No way you get 2 QBs on the lineup. I got something better. I can get 2 QBs and 3 stud wide receivers, and I just had to spend 200 for someone down low. And there's no better place to talk about it than with Kurt. But first, we have to go through these running backs real quick. All right, 10.2K is Joe Mixon's price. When I looked at Mixon's price, I was shocked to see that he was the highest priced guy on the entire slate, Kurt. You also have DeAndre Swift at 7K, but this is a backfield in Chicago that is very murky. It's incredibly murky. And I also, let me go ahead and just do this real quick. We got a special guest here. It's the one, it's the only Big T in the house after shipping 20K in cars, not football today, in NASCAR. What a guy.
Yeah. The Bengals game has me tilted though. We just can't close against the freaking Chiefs. Hurt my feelings, so I had to hop on with the boys.
I'm going to check out my NASCAR. I was like, oh, I forgot NASCAR ended. Congrats.
Tony, there's a big disagreement just because of me. Everyone else in the chat thought it was. Was it pass interference or not?
I mean, it probably was, but it's just the frustration of how it always happens. Like they dominated the whole football game. And it was 4th and friggin' a million. Like it's just, I mean, it probably was, but it wasn't like the most obvious thing ever either. Like it was barely ahead of the ball.
Yeah, and they're both going for the ball and stuff. As a biased Bengals fan. But, Tony, I got to give you a big shout out. What was it? Malik Neighbors was your play of the day, right? And he went absolutely off. And this is the Commanders.
5,900 is just egregious for a dude that gets the ball every single throw.
He was literally like Daniel Jones snapped the ball and immediately looked towards the ball. Yeah. Who knows what?
He had like a 62% target share or something, they said.
He even dropped like one.
Yeah, Vincent, they dominated him. Did you watch the freaking foot? Now I'm going to get more mad because did you watch it? They dominated the whole football game. What are we talking about?
No kicker, too, for the Giants. That's low cost them. If the Giants had a kicker, man, they were going to win that game.
Oh, yeah, they were going to win that game.
Yeah,
the Giants should have won that.
First of all, that's on them for not having an emergency kicker. I mean, I feel like most teams have an emergency kicker. How in the hell do they not have an emergency kicker?
How can the punter not kick it?
That's what I'm saying. That's very poor on what's his name, Dable. That's bad, bro.
Oh, Chad Ochocinco could step in and kick a
field goal. That's what I'm saying.
Someone that can at least attempt it.
Oh, see, this is out of bounds. I love money. Kurt had more to say about the Panthers than me on the first show that we did this year. I'm waving the white flag early on the Panthers.
So here's the thing. It's funny because Liam Cohen's dominating for the Bucks. So I think Liam Cohen might have a little bit to do with the play calling last year that maybe we weren't aware of in Tampa. So, but yeah, my Bucks got me fired up. Liam Cohen is a boss. Baker's a boss. Good. Going into Detroit. If there's any Lions fans out there, all 3 of you, suck it.
All 3 of you.
All right. Well, let's get into these running backs real quick here, Kurt, because I looked at DeAndre Swift.
We got Big T's boy.
DeAndre Swift is Big T's boy.
No, 10K Joe Mixon.
Oh,
what is that price?
There is no way he's clicking 10K Joe Mixon.
Oh,
I don't know. I literally don't know how you could. It's almost a gift to not even have to think about it. Like
I am glad they made him this high. I love it.
You're playing him?
No, he's gonna get. No, I'm not. I love that he made him this high that I don't even have to consider it.
It's
if it beats me, I'm okay. Here's the thing: when it's like this, if it
I know he's gonna jam it up me too. Is the funniest
I'll live
part.
with it though. I just that's not a good price. So I'm okay with the beats when they happen like that.
I think we're all in line then. I think we're all fading Mixon then. Like, or at least.
I mean, I'm not I'm not full fading.
You're not going to go more than 40% though. Probably.
I'm going to be below the field. I used to always just full fade in this situation. I learned my lesson though. I don't want him to get 35 carries again and just punish me. I need at least some.
So, did you guys watch the interview? I'm sorry, Rube. I'm just a master at that. Did you watch the interview though with the coach, the offensive coordinator after the game about how? Yeah, we're just going to keep giving it to him every single. You saw that? Can you quote some more of that because I can't remember it all.
So if I pull it up here, but real quick, some ownership take real fast is that Joe Mixon is projected for around 45 to 50% ownership. And here was the quote that you were looking at too. It was last week, just talking about he is a workhorse. Oh, I thought I had it. Oh yeah, physically, I'd say he's probably one of the few guys in the NFL that could handle that. He's just built and has in the past done that before and is built to do that. So basically, they're just trying to get him the ball as many times as necessary. So you're muted, Kurt. You're muted.
He goes on to later say, "Yeah, we're just gonna keep giving it to him 1,000 times." Basically, Like, all right.
That's my only fear, but I am very happy playing both secondary or going against both secondaries with the passing game. I need the Swift takes though, and I really want to get into these cheapies because the cheapies are very important on this slate. Tony never agrees with Kurt and I on this, but I am playing a 200
guys
guy.
love the cheapies.
I am 100% playing a 200 guy tonight, and it's one of these running backs. And I think you can play a couple of these running backs even. I wouldn't play them in the same lineup or anything like that, but I do think they're viable. Real quick, Swift take, Tony, Big T, I need your take on Swift real fast.
I mean, it's tough. His price is tough. Mixon's is tough, but Swift's is tough too. I'm bad for showdowns these takes because I'm just hardly ever going to like the running backs. I did when Detroit was that last Sunday they played. I like the running backs there, but I just, man, it's tough. But the Bears, I think the Bears move the ball, but you start looking at their weapons and it's like, I mean, where are they going?
DJ Moore,
all year long, though, Houston is going to score and they're going to give up points. I really believe that. Like all year, I'm going to target their games, and I think Chicago is going to score. So it's a matter of where. It seems pretty. I don't understand the projections. I guess just looking through, their projections are so low.
I think it's a little bit of like hesitation on because they were so bad last week, right? I think a lot of people don't really know what to expect, and I just don't know if there's like a lot of conviction there, and that's the issue. But you're right. Like I think DJ Moore is he was much higher than a 16-point projection all last year and stuff. And
I don't know how he can be projected only that amount of points.
Who's that? Who?
DJ Moore.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah,
I bumped him way up. He's my favorite captain. That's a spoiler there. He's actually my favorite captain on the entire slate because we just talked about it too. Like this secondary got torched by the Colts last week. Alex Pierce was looking like a stud against them, and AD Mitchell and Anthony Richardson missed guys down the field. I want to go against the secondary, but real quick,
what's this playbook say? Where's my report of where do I need to target each thing that I always look at on this playbook?
Yeah, against the Texans, you want to go with the slot. So usually the slot receiver, I think it was going to be a lot of Keenan, which he's out now. But I do think they're going to mix it up quite a bit. You also want to go against with tight ends against the Texans. So I think it's going to be mostly just DJ Moore and Odunze kind of rotating in and out of the slot. I think they can move around a lot.
DeAndre Carter's got to play a little bit of a slot too.
I think Tyler Scott plays quite a bit. DeAndre Carter could definitely play a lot of slots.
I like those deep guys for the Bears for sure.
Carter. Carter's my guy. I want Carter over Scott. I feel like, I saw him play a little bit last week, and Carter, it's a fucking revenge. Oh, sorry, Mom. It's a revenge game against the Texans. And I want to bring up another point. I'm scatterbrained, but this is an awesome slate, so I'm sorry. So Blossom game, the fullback is inactive. Now here they got Roshan doing some of the kick return. Velus Jones, the returner, is inactive.
Yep.
Roshan's going to be doing a little bit of everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a couple of fullback snaps.
I think Roshan plays a lot, but I don't think they're going to be playing much of a fullback. I think it's going to be a lot.
They would do a couple like Blossom game, like when he would.
Roshan is not the answer. You guys better not be like talking yourselves into freaking Roshan.
I already have. I've done it all off season, and I'm coming into this game.
I like DeAndre Carter's my GB.
DeAndre
Carter's the play.
Okay, so here let me.
Roshan is not.
I'm just going to bet anytime touchdown on Roshan right now. Just to own you. I'm literally going to do that right now. Here's my case for Roshan.
I just can't play guys that have no projection. Like, I just can't.
Because
why are we playing guys with no projections? Just for fun?
He loves Roshan. But what about
didn't even get a touch last week?
I literally don't understand why you want to play Roshan.
Because Roshan's going to be the passing down back.
What about Travis Homer?
I don't think Travis Homer is.
He's literally been playing ahead of him. I don't understand.
Yeah,
me and Carter.
Roshan was hurt. Roshan was hurt. He was inactive last week. It wasn't really a healthy scratch. It was a lot of missed time in camp.
Wait, what do you mean?
Roshan is RB2 on the Bears. He is RB2
inactive.
Coach's
decision.
You got to get off Roshan. Seriously, you got to not be attached to him.
Anyway, if you're not into Roshan, you do have two cheap Texans running backs that Jalen Wright played. Jalen Wright got 5.
Jalen Wright was a way better play than Roshan. Don't even disrespect Jalen Wright.
That one hurts, bro. When Jeff Wilson caught the pass, as soon as I was heading into long necks, I just immediately was just so pissed. I was just like, I got fooled by Omar. I was so mad. And then Jalen Wright ended up getting some carries. Roschon getting work today, guaranteed. Dario Ogunbowale and Cam Akers are two pivots where if you don't want to go with Joe Mixon, who is a workhorse, those two guys should see the field. Ogunbowale is more of a pass catcher. Cam Akers would probably take a few of the carries. None project really well. That's the take in the running backs. Now, after my spiel on Roschon, which you guys hated, which, feel it, I eat that up. Hate on Roschon some more. But real quick, Tony. What?
I got a more fun $200 play for you. I don't really know if he's going to see the field today, though.
Is it a wide receiver?
It is.
Then let's dive into these wide receivers then. Kurt.
What are you guys talking about on this slate?
I'm just saying, like, Colin Johnson had a good preseason.
Oh my God! What are you guys doing?
Texas
what are we doing right here? Why are we trying to play these dudes? Break me in half just because I can't stand these takes. I'd rather have half.
I'm just saying.
I need to save our members. I need to save our members. Let me make this really simple, Rubio. I want you to go to sabersim.com, okay? Our partner.
I'm already here.
I want you to make a new build, Rubio. When you take it, you make a brand new build, okay? I want you to run it with the raw projections, and then I want you to tell me how many of these clowns you're getting. The math isn't mathing. You are forcing it.
Am I forcing it, or am I just someone who loves CJ Stroud double stacks with a stud?
I'm glad Travis came on to speak some sense to you, donkeys.
I had to save you guys. And Kurt, no cussing in my house, okay? You were making good remarks.
I love that you guys have the same backdrop. It's so good.
So to be fair, when I ran the contest sims, which I usually run for a single entry for my main team here, in Mangone's case, only Cam Akers appears more than 5% of the time. And that's with a pretty generous projection there, too, of 1.8. So you're right, Mangone. But the good news is I'm an idiot, and I projected Roschon for 4 points, and he hits everything.
The good news is he wants to light more money on fire today. So.
Like, why are we projecting him for 4 points?
That's because I hit a plus 1,800 parlay today, and I
really don't understand.
Just like Rubio, I'm telling you, I made my adjustments, and one of the biggest things that when I make my adjustments, that I might make a mistake on is I up too much of the really good plays, and then I'll up everyone, and then I get all the cheap shitters that I don't need, and I've fixed that a little bit. I'm not getting them. I don't know what, dude, all the usage is gonna go to DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift. That's who it's gonna go to.
I just wanted to be known that I am still only committed to playing DeAndre Carter, and I was just mentioning some $200 guys that Rubio.
That's the issue with Rubio's thing. We have cheap guys you can play.
I'm playing Carter. I'm jamming Carter. I'm just jamming.
I'll give it, Rubio. Can I make a wager with you? Okay.
$1 million.
I'll take Fairburn. Okay. Whatever his name is, and you can have the rest of the field below. You can have the rest of them.
Rubio said 5K kicker.
That's who I want
in that field. I would not do that, man. Don't do that to yourself. I will take that deal in a heartbeat. You don't realize how many shitters get stats. Real quick, we need to get to wide receivers. All right. DJ Moore, best play on the slate, in my opinion. Without Keenan Allen in there, I think DJ Moore is going to shine out. He's not in that big of a split, too. Odunze's still a secondary thought. Odunze's still a great play and stuff. But I do want to mention how the 3 Texans wide receivers, 21 targets combined last week, 6 for Diggs, 7 for Tank, 8 for Nico Collins. Nico had the longest ADOT. Tank had quite a bit of options down the field. Diggs was very much used around the line of scrimmage. Also got the 2 touchdowns, which matters a lot in fantasy football. When you look at this Texans wide receiver room and you're playing Stroud, because you've already solidified that, Kurt, are you playing him with 2 Texans wide receivers for the most part, or are you kind of maybe taking a case where maybe I just go 1 and maybe pair him up with a guy like Dalton Schultz or something like that, or is it just 2 wide receivers or bust?
It can be Schultz. I mean, but then you I don't know, fading one of these wide receivers scare. I love Tank Dell. Tank Dell's my favorite receiver. It would be Nico if cost consideration, but he's 10K. So point for value, my favorite Texas wide receiver is Tank Dell easily. I'm going to be jamming more Tank Dell and DeAndre Carter.
I like it. Yeah, DeAndre Carter, I forgot that you mentioned him earlier. You clearly weren't on him enough. You entertained Roschon a little bit. No, I'm playing. Tony, I have a build, and this is why I love my 200 option, right? This is why I love Roschon tonight. I can get 2 stud Texans wide receivers with Stroud, Caleb Williams, and DJ Moore with ease. Are you in that path of not wanting 2 wide receivers then? Are you not playing any cheapies at all? Is DeAndre Carter the lowest you're going?
I'm running my numbers right now just because I'm curious. I finally got it up to where I can start putting some stuff on the site, but let me wait till I get my numbers to give my official answer. But one thing I want to talk about while SaberSim's running for me, I've talked a lot on these Showdown shows. I know we're only week 2, but the quarterback pricing is messed up. And I don't think people have realized it. I mean, CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams are both like $2K too cheap or $1,500 too cheap. How is CJ Stroud $9,800? And everyone's so used to not playing these guys in the captain. Like on Houston, you got all these pass catchers. We hate Mixon. Like, how does it not make sense to play these guys more in the captain than the field? I know it's like the thing that's what Showdown's been around 5 years or something now. No one ever plays quarterback captain, and it makes sense. But like everything, eventually stuff circles back, and you got to make adjustments. I mean, Caleb Williams is $8,800. I mean, that is so cheap on a slate where the captains aren't that obvious. Don't get me wrong. I like the receivers like you guys do. I like DJ Moore, Tank Dell, Nico, Rome. I like all the guys. But here, my numbers are almost done. But I think we got to pay more attention to quarterback captain in the field. These prices are too cheap. And it makes your builds a little easier too, because people don't do that. And it just lets you line it up. Like if you play CJ, it's just easy to pop a couple pass catchers in there with them. It makes your builds easier, I think. So I'm definitely giving more consideration than ever right now to quarterback captains.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like how that spiel there. I kind of mentioned it earlier. They're being so cheap. Like they're under 10K for Stroud, which is something that you would have thought was 11.4 last year and stuff. Mangone, are you on Mixon tonight, or are you off?
I'll answer your question just because you're giving them a new topic first. Then you can just because you asked me about the cheapies. So I ran my numbers. Obviously, quarterbacks in the flex are like above 50% massive. And then I got all the good receivers, Tank, Nico, Rome, all the good guys. So then the most I got of any cheap guys, I have kickers. Like I got kickers in the 20s, it looks like. No, only the Bears kickers somehow in the 20s. DeAndre Carter, I have 10%. Homer, 7. Like I don't have hardly any of the cheapies, which was to Mangone's point when he hopped on. You just don't need cheapies, I guess, with the way these builds come together, because I'm looking at all the guys I have a lot of exposure to. They're all good guys. So I just don't think I need any cheapies to. And part of it is these quarterbacks are so cheap. I mean, I don't understand how you can't fade these quarterbacks. Like, you don't have to play them captain, but you cannot fade these quarterbacks at these prices.
So I guess the question will be, like what Rubio was saying is, even when you do go Carter, like it's really hard to make the decision on which the receiver. So I guess the better case would be rank the receivers, because you can't jam them all and they all look so appeasing. So I guess the key to the slate is how you would really rank the receivers on both sides.
I'll go ahead and do that. Moore, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Odunze, Diggs. I'm off Diggs. A Diggs price at $9,400 is a bit too steep for me. Odunze's a little bit cheaper, so he gets the nod. That's been my take all offseason. The 2 touchdowns that Diggs caught, good. I hope a lot of people play him. He can be fine, but I'm not going to go on for touchdown, reliance and stuff. I'd rather put my faith in Tank Dell and Nico Collins here on this Texans team. Mangone, are you on Mixon tonight or not? If so, I want to see if you can play pro Mixon for us.
I mean, I don't need Mixon. Like, I like those receivers a lot on the Texans. Like, I actually want to have, like, for the most part, I'm having like 2 on every team pretty much. Like, even when I play, like, if I play like a receiver in the captain, that's like a Diggs, a Nico, or a Tank Dell, like I'm okay with having another one of the receivers just because I think they just do so much work. I mean, it is what it is. If Mixon gets 30 carries and he scores 2 touchdowns, that's fine. Mixon could get 30 carries and like not get any touchdowns, right? Like that's certainly possible. Like, so I don't need to play him. It's fine by me. I like those receivers a lot. I just like their upside. I'm going to mix and match them. I have a different take than you, Rubio. I said it when you guys were on the show last week. I said, I just want the lower owned receiver between Kupp and Nakua. Now I got lucky for sure, but with the injury, but like, why can't it be Stephon Diggs? Like, I feel very confident Stefon Diggs is more like you're gonna like look in like 6 weeks and be like, okay, like I thought Nico Collins was wide receiver 1 by a mile, and you're gonna understand the gap's closer than you think.
Oh, stop it. He caught 2 short touchdowns last week. He didn't do anything special.
Gregory, you know
Nico's the guy. Nico's the guy.
Short is good sometimes. You know how to get it done with the short stick, so don't worry. The
You
short
had a
my
good
left-
tweet about Kyler Murray this week, and it's gone to your head. 3.3
I really
million.
bet my left pinky that Nico's the guy all year. The guy runs like a gazelle. He is
Nico
literally
is
a
the
wide
guy.
receiver,
I agree.
a quarterback's best friend. Diggs is a quarterback's worst friend.
We'll see.
Give me
Kurt.
Nico all day. I'll cut this left pinky off. It ain't doing much anyways.
You heard
Both
it. Kurt is
sides.
going to cut his left pinky off
They're
live
both,
on this
they're
show.
both
If Stefon Diggs is somehow wide receiver 1 or 2 over Nico, if Nico's somehow below him, you know, there
Can
we
we
go.
talk about how short Kurt's pinky is? That was wild.
Can we see?
That is a small pinky.
Was that from playing tight end with the balls? I mean, how did you get the pinky?
it's from blocking. Yeah.
That makes sense. Holy cow. I was last
You get called for one too many hold penalties, you're never going to hold again. You're just going to jam into the chest
That's
plate.
what I was thinking the whole time too. That was wild.
But
Then you start, like, you
my
play more and
rankings
more.
are Diggs, Dell, Nico. So we are opposite, Rubio. So one of us will have a good night, one of us won't. And
I'm not gonna say the line. You know?
In
I'd love
Mango's
being on the
defense,
outside.
wait, in Mango's defense, I think in some lineups where that $600 can free up a lot, that's the only way I'd play Diggs over Nico. If the 600 was like a big differentiator for me.
I just think like no one's thinking that way. Like Big
I
T,
think
when you
everyone
ran
looks at the game logs like a bunch of dumbasses, and they're going to play Diggs over Collins.
so Big T, who were you getting like more or less of? Like who do you think is the chalk? Like I think it's Tank Dell is chalkiest, then Nico, then Diggs. I don't think anyone wants to play Diggs.
So what do I think the ownerships of just the receivers?
Yeah, just the Texans receivers.
Oh, just the Texans too. I think. I mean, Nico's got to be number 1. It's ownership. These aren't my rankings, but I think
ownership.
it's Nico, Tank, Steph for sure.
Yeah. So I'll take the lower owned Steph Diggs. I'm happy with that. And of course, DJ Moore is like, he's probably the best like raw points receiver on the slate. But I think DeAndre Swift is like, I think he's a stronger play than people think compared to
I'm with
DJ Moore.
it.
Like,
I'm with it.
Like, I think
Yes.
everyone thinks DJ Moore is like head and above the best play on the slate, no doubter. I just think DeAndre Swift's a little bit closer than you think. I think he's going to be way more used in the pass game, run game.
I'm getting
They're
a ton
going
of
to
Swift, so I think
Yes.
I think I'm with Mangone again. I wasn't planning on it, but he just fits. He fits a lot of builds.
He's a really good value. He's going to, and again, the Bears, how are they going to win this game? The Bears aren't winning this game in a shootout. They need to at least control the game a little bit, and that's going to be with a DeAndre Swift. So he's one of my 3 max captains. My 3 max captains are Diggs, Tank Dell, and Swift. So those are my 3 guys for captains.
So, you know, your favorite thing that you taught me last year, man, going was one of those things. Well, I've seen it online now, so it's not so much of a secret anymore. But it's the passing or receiving yards over with the receptions under. Like, what is it? Like alt yards. I think this is a night, and this could be a team to do it against all year with the Texans. Just judging by week 1, how many guys were running free down the field, and could that be a trend? I wouldn't mind doing that with DJ Moore. I'm actually exploring that right now. Like, what, 150 alt yards or like 100 yards, you know, alt receiving.
The problem is, the problem is he's going to get peppered with too many targets. You need someone that can just like rip an 80-yarder and that's it. I actually think the Texans are good for it. Like you could do it.
So, like, are you talking about going against the Texans? I think Odunze would be your guy too, because he had so many down the field passes, you know, for him in preseason. I want to entertain it because I want to see if you get in on trend early. Like the Texans look like terrible in the secondary, and I know they won the game against the Colts and stuff, but Richardson could have literally just completed 12 passes for 300 yards last week. He did 9 for 212, but like you can get down the field on this team here. Let me go ahead and get to our defense and kicker talks. I think there's a case to be made for the kickers tonight and the defenses too. You know, we just saw the way that Caleb Williams performed against the Titans. And it's not a sign of things to come, but you could absolutely buy in on this Texans defense. You saw what the Bears did last week against the Titans. They're fine. And there's not a ton of values. I mean, there's a reason why Mangone offered me Fairbairn against the field below it, but Santos and Fairbairn are going to hit plenty of teams. I think in the top rankings for both cash games, it's 1-2, and JVC it's 1-2, as the kickers being those guys in that glue piece. because there's a big fall off. After about Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet's is in a little bit of a timeshare at the tight end position. Gerald Everett, he's 2,400 and stuff. You don't really have a ton of options. So kickers and defenses are going to be popular for that reason tonight. I don't think they're horrible, but I do want your takes on if you guys have any conviction on any of these guys. And Mangone, Kurt, any conviction on these two at all?
Give me Fairburn and I'd rather the kickers over the defenses. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm not playing any defenses today. I do like the kickers a little bit when it fits. I think if you're running like 20 max, throwing a couple Cole Kmets in there, maybe he was maybe he was schemed into the game plan this week, and just in case Keenan Allen didn't play, a little more slot work for Cole Kmet. He was not involved at all in week 1. I think that's a fun GPP play.
So I like your mention of the tight ends there because I did forget to go over them as this comment mentioned here. I think the Kmet and everything is a concern. I actually don't hate Everett at all, especially when you do want tight ends a little bit against this Texans team. You also want the slot a little bit, which is why DeAndre Carter's popping for you guys too, which I respect greatly. When you look at the tight ends, Gerald Everett at 2,400 is someone where if he is going to play that much, you can absolutely go with him. I actually fancy Cole Kmet for a first touchdown.
You fancy him?
I fancy Cole Kmet for a first touchdown. And if you guys haven't seen the new content on the Run Pure Sports website, the core page now has all the first touchdown, anytime touchdown bets for each coordinator. So, Tony, I'm going to give yours away. Oh, look at this. We are hand in hand with the position.
Not Cole Kmet, though.
Yeah, so hit the like button for us. We haven't begged for likes all season. At least I haven't on my shows or anything like that. Hit the like button. Let's get up. And, I'm going to be very generous. There's 800 or 700 watching. Get us up to 150 likes. That's 75 likes extra. And I'll give away Tony's first touchdown bet, which I do like that one, Tony. I was in between.
Prices, I will say, when I've been hot with those first touchdowns, and the price tonight, it's not as good as Lazard was on Monday night because that was a gift. The price on my guy tonight feels absurd to me.
Rubio, can we play a game sponsored by DraftKings.com?
Yes, we can. We can play a game sponsored by DraftKings.
The game is, who was the first-time touchdown on Thursday?
It was James Cook.
Who had James Cook as their first-time touchdown?
Man,
that was you,
crushed, by the way.
Look at that.
On Thursday, I got to give Mangone credit because he freaking crushed. After the game, I was curious because our new layout at Run Pure is awesome. I wanted to see who crushed. And you know what? Only one person on the whole sheet crushed. His name was Travis Mangone.
It was. I didn't have all the right pieces was the problem, but I did.
All I saw was the core. I didn't say you totally smashed the slate. I just saw the core, and the core was the nut.
If someone played my core, they definitely did. You had to have at least min cashed. I'll say that.
So I think it's been enough time. I don't know if we got the likes or not. I'm not going to bother to check, but please hit the like button. Don't make me look like a crook here if we don't have 150 likes. Tony, I'm going to give away your first touchdown. Ready?
Already? I thought I had to click the like button or something.
I don't know if we have 150. I guess I'll check.
I mean, we got 10 minutes. You don't got to rush it.
All right. The boss said I got to hold off. I tried, but what I will give away is the guy who won 10K last, or was it 12K last Sunday night game, JSU. So JSU's core here, I really like. So I'm going to give this one away because we did hit 100 likes. I am seeing that now. DJ Moore captain, Caleb Williams, and surprisingly, Joe Mixon in his core. So he's one of the few guys that run pure on Joe Mixon in this core. He's actually the only guy with Joe Mixon in his core. So if you guys did want to tail JSU, that is his core. Again, DJ Moore captain, Caleb Williams, and Joe Mixon. All right. So anyone else that we want to
got Joe Mixon in his core?
He's got Joe Mixon in his core. If you want to make fun of him, give him a call.
In his captain core, right? Is it captain or not?
No, it's not captain.
Oh, okay. It's just flex. Okay.
I want to make a same game parlay too. My same game parlay is going to have 100 yards for DJ Moore. I think that he's going to toast this Texans secondary a bit. I think they're going to make it a point to get him the ball tonight too.
You probably want to put one of your dusty tight ends in as an anytime touchdown as well, or an over on receptions. An over on receptions sounds like something you would like from one of the tight ends.
I got to check his prop real quick. So DJ Moore's 100+ yard prop is actually up to plus 280 on DraftKings. One thing that you do have too, Mangone, is that on Mondays and Thursdays you're doing pick six videos, right?
Yes, I am. I'm doing the pick six videos for the people, and you can bet the props as well. So however you want to do it, you can get the action.
I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna do Gerald Everett over 1.5 catches. You talked me into it. It's minus 165, and I'm throwing that in a same
Oh
game.
God, those are the props I hate when you got to lay that kind of juice.
Well, I'm same game parlaying. It went from plus
Oh.
280 to plus 480. I'm fine with
I don't
it.
mind it as much in the single game, but just laying 165 is tough.
Well, there's also a profit boost on DraftKings.com. So if you guys are interested in signing up,
Hashtag DK partner.
hashtag DK partner, DraftKings.com.
What is the over on DeAndre Swift's rush attempts?
Do you want me to guess?
No, I
Or-
want to know what it is. I bet it, so I want to know what the line is right now that you're staring.
The
at.
line right now on DeAndre Swift is 11.5 with minus 135 on the over, plus 105 on the under.
All right, I already bet that, so that's a winner if you want it. That's a winner for the people. DeAndre Swift's over on rush attempts, 11.5.
That's crazy because Roshan's going to be leading the backfield. So
Gosh.
we have not gotten to Big T's first touchdown yet here, Derek. We are still waiting. The boss told me I couldn't give it away until we hit 150 likes. And you know what? I just checked. It's 145.
We're
Does
working
Jalen
our
Johnson
way there.
shadow?
I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get in there and hit the like. I haven't hit it yet. Hang on.
Does
Oh, come
Jalen
on.
Johnson shadow?
This Jalen Johnson's shadow. That's a question for a Bears fan. Does he shadow? I do not. He does not shadow top wide receivers according to November 2nd article in 2023.
What up, Scott Foster?
Scott Foster in
I'm
the chat.
I'm number 149.
All right. What was that?
I was like number 149.
149. So we got to be at 150. All right. There we go. I'm going to trust Zathletics Fitness. All right, Tony. Do you want to give the honors? Because I really like this one.
Yeah, so I'm not ready to give it yet, though.
Oh my God, he's making people wait.
I'm getting my content up for the paying members here. I got to get my stuff up. I got one more core because I put one main core for DraftKings and FanDuel, 2 extra cores for DraftKings, my whole player pool, and a touchdown prop on there. I got one more core to put up, and then I'm coming back and giving it for free.
And then he gave NASCAR winners today. I mean,
Thank
his
you.
man's a
Yeah,
hard.
Thank you, Travis.
I got you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Boo.
Yeah.
I just
Speaking
found
of
a Mixon team I like with the Stroud. So for my second team, I'll give that while I'm putting it up. Stroud captain with Mixon as one of the flex. I found a team I like. Maybe he can catch a few dump offs.
Stroud captain with Mixon. Nice. And it is a team that you want to target the running backs against. The Bears did give up the most receiving yards out of the
I was
backfield.
listening to your tidbit on the playbook. I was listening to you.
Yeah, it wasn't first by a little bit. It was actually first by quite a bit. It was over 53 yards per game just out of the backfield alone. So that doesn't include if Mixon were to line up in slot or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's if Mixon's going to do it, I think it would have to include at least 6 to 7 points from the air, which he is very capable of.
The more I build teams, the more I realize how easy it is to play Swift and Mixon with the quarterbacks, and you just get so much freaking usage from it that it's an awkward construction. But how many times are awkward constructions win in Showdown? I don't ever do this, freaking ever, where I play quarterbacks with running backs. But tonight it just makes a decent amount of sense. In my 150, I'm not going to have a lot of Mixon, but my 3 main teams, I think it's a decent spot, really. And Swift just has to get work with where they're short.
Swift is going to crush.
Except Roshan is not short, and he is going to steal all the carries. All right. That's the last Roshan talk here. There was comments.
Seriously playing him.
I swear to you, I am.
Why?
He's on your
team. Guy. He is going to be in there quite a bit tonight. He fits exactly what I want. I get Tank Dell, I get Nico Collins, I get DJ Moore-Katzen, I get both quarterbacks. They kind of gave it away there, but I think it's a good click.
The problem is he's going to get a 0, and so is DeAndre Carter, and you and Kurt are going to dupe each other with that 0.
I'll bet you lunch he gets more than 2.
Wait, why am I duping him?
He's not.
You have DeAndre Carter. You have DeAndre Carter, who's also getting 0. That was my.
Oh, that's no. Get out of here, man.
Mango got the unlimited salary thing today, where he can play anyone he wants, and he doesn't play any cheapies. It's crazy. You only get that once in a while.
I actually don't have many.
I got 150 teams with no cheapies, so
Tony's got the unlimited salary on all his teams.
I mean, it depends on if you think Gerald Everett's considered a pawn, or DeAndre Carter and Gerald Everett are fine plays.
Yeah,
I know. I was just doing it to make fun of it. The joke was you're both getting.
Well,
0,
I was trying to give you get you to give me your cheap guy. I'll throw him in one.
My cheap guy's Ty Fairburn.
Hey, me,
That's
That's my cheap guy. I have Gerald Everett on one. I'll give you that. I do have a Gerald Everett.
Tony, are we ready for the first touchdown? Or are you going to continue
Yeah,
making
I
the
got my stuff up. So, yeah, we've been talking about him. Rubio tried to spoil it, but Gerald Everett, 35-1 first touchdown odds. Rubio told me that tight ends have a good spot in this matchup. I think he told me that. Hopefully he told me that. But
it was in the tidbit.
yeah, I was trying to reinforce that point. But 35-1, and the even better part though, first touchdowns are fun, but 5-1 anytime. Those are the ones I like the best. When you can get like a tight end or some of these guys that get red zone targets at 5 or 6-1. I love touchdown props. They're fun, and it feels like that we've crushed them on these shows, on these showdown shows, because it feels like every time we come on here, we hit one. So
Last year was the one that was most memorable when I put a $200 free bet on Michael Mayer to catch the first touchdown. He did it in the fourth quarter. That was from this show too. Or yeah, just as a group. When I saw Gerald Everett, I put Cole Kmet because I did want to target a tight end specifically in the red zone for a guy like Caleb Williams. I think Gerald Everett being a better number is just a little bit more value. I like both there, and I think I'm going to sprinkle him right now too. So Gerald Everett's the official one of the show. So 3 minutes left. I don't think we have to go completely up to this 9 o'clock range or 8:20 range, but we will because Big T's here. Last week we didn't, self-admittedly. But we got 3 minutes left. Hop in with any questions at all. Yeah, Vincent knows the Michael Mayer one. That was the best one that we've had. That fourth quarter hits different on a first touchdown.
Isaiah Pacheco in crutches and in a walking boot. So if your best ball shares are Samaje Perine, you might be happy.
Miles Sanders backers are the ones who are on their feet. Miles Sanders is on his way out of that town. He's going to go to Kansas City.
I actually can't with Rubio. It's so brutal.
I think Miles Sanders is for sure gone, especially after an 0-2 start. Not that
freaking Miles Sanders.
Oh, come on.
You love the shittiest dudes. I swear. Like, you have to make a bit out of it just to like the worst dudes possible.
Here we go. Rapid fire time.
You think Rubio looks in the mirror before the show and be like, "Oh, I can't wait to mention Miles Sanders on the show."
Oh, I guarantee he does. And he smiles at himself. I guarantee that's what happens.
He smiles at himself.
Like, this is going to get him tilted for sure.
Wait, rapid fire time. Rapid fire time. Kurt, you're good. You're the best at the rapid fire. Ready? Brevin Jordan, yes or no?
Yes.
That's not very rapid.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz, yes or no? This isn't rapid. I got to go to someone else now.
Give it to me. I'm fast.
All right, Tony. Dalton Schultz, yes or no?
No.
Santos or Adunze? That's an easy one.
That wasn't a yes or no question. You can't say two names.
Santos or Adunze?
Yeah, and they're two the receiver, Odunze.
The receiver too.
Like, I'm not taking a kicker over Odunze.
This is yes or no. This is very much yes. This is very much yes or no.
Oh my god.
Everett or DeAndre Carter
in the mirror.
Everett over DeAndre Carter? Question mark. Yes or no?
I got Everett, but I like them both. I think they're similar plays. Honestly, they're like possession guys that.
Not very
Carter
rapid.
obviously has more like big play upside, but
this isn't rapid. It has to be yes or no.
You're rapid, buddy.
Yeah, you jacked it up. That's your fault.
2 kicker builds, yes or no?
No. Rubio, no. English or Spanish?
It was such a niche joke. I love it though, but it's such a niche joke. All right. Sprinkling more Gerald Everett monies on the. Oh, you can super boost tonight too. That's nice.
Super boost.
Yeah, it's not a very good one. It's Diggs or DJ Moore to score a touchdown, boosted to plus 100.
Diggs is scoring a touchdown, so it doesn't. That's like a winner right there.
Meh, it's all right.
Diggs or DJ Moore. You have DJ Moore also. You love DJ Moore. You said he's getting 100 receiving yards.
He is getting 100 receiving yards tonight. Hindu or Christianity. That is wild, Drew. That is wild. I think we're all set here. Anything else you guys want to add? Parting words? I don't think we're good. All right. Have a great rest of y'all's day and see you next week. And bye-bye once I finish scrolling down. There.